The last day is not a day we are still waiting for. Did you follow me at all? So what happened in the last days? What happened in the last days is that the spirit of wisdom, Ruach Elohim, Ruach Akodesh, begin to brood upon the surface of the deep, begins to brood upon the lives of men, and it begins to take away everything that looks like veil. It begins to cause a redefinition in mindset. It begins to take everything that can be an hindrance to the move of God, and it begins to remove it. So the move of God is just one, and it is simple. The move of God is just to remove the veil, and that by the spirit of wisdom, remove ignorance, and by the spirit of wisdom, take men back in time as it was in the beginning. From the time of creation, when God created man, that he had the DNA of man, and he could function as God wanted him to function. For those who are in data science, there is something they call modeling. You model a robot according to how you want it to function. So God created man in that similitude, that this is how I want it to function. If a robot is in this place and he has been programmed in such a way that it can detect everything in this environment, what he just needs is like a signal, like a sensor. It can trap everything in this atmosphere. Are you with me? So the move of God is simple. God removing the veil, and by the spirit of wisdom, bringing men into the consciousness of their person, that they begin to assume the similitude of God, begin to assume the similitude of who God has originally created them to be. That when you find yourself in an atmosphere, you can discern that the voice of God is in this place. When you find yourself in an atmosphere, you can discern the speakings of the demonic. When you find yourself in an atmosphere, you can know things by prophetic signals. Do you understand? Are you sure you do? So when you find yourself in this place, you may not know that this thing is called a light. But when you enter here, by spiritual intelligence, as it was in the beginning, there was a modeling. You have been programmed to know that when you see something like this, it is called light. That was what happened to Adam. When he saw the animals, he knew that this one was lion, this one was goat. He knew. So when you come into this atmosphere, it does not look new to you. Are you with me? When you come into this that's when you journey. When you get there, that place does not look new to you. It's like an habitat for you. When you begin to see appearance of angels, you can interpret correctly what the assignment is. You can know them by their names and interpret correctly what their operations are. Do you follow me at all? I've talked before that nothing on earth is not living thing. No, everything is living, because it came out of a product of life. So you can be in your room and the Lord is saying, look at your wall clock. And when you look at this, God is speaking the next 5 years of your life to you through your wall clock. But by spiritual, this will not come. It will only come by spiritual intelligence, because you have gotten a modeling, and so you can trap the signal. Do you follow me at all? I say you just see someone walk just by his house. He's just walking, nothing is happening, nothing happened. All of a sudden, he just slump and die. And then you call it non-living thing. It was programmed to work against him. And so what was used was what? Do you follow me correctly? So when you wake up, when you are moving, you can understand atmospheres, and you can speak to atmospheres. I taught a teaching like that. I can't remember now. But if you go on our Telegram platform, there is a teaching there, the move of God. I taught part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. And I was teaching about spiritual intelligence. How that you can discern things. How that you can discern the speakings of God in every atmosphere. This is what makes us a spiritual man. That when we enter an atmosphere, you don't just see a building. Are you with me now? What you see is an atmosphere. You don't just see a building. What you see is something you can interact with. People who operate in the demonic world, they understand these things better. And so they will sit down in this place and they will just by their spirit speak to that thing, because they know that that thing too is spiritual. And so they will communicate with it and they will say, let this thing work against this person, and it will happen. Because they understand that this was how they were modeled. It's a modeling. But when you come to the place of light, the modeling happens. So this is the move of God, that it brings you, it takes away ignorance and it brings you to the place where you should be, where your person is. So there are things that should not be permitted in your life. Depression should not be permitted, because Christ, when he came, depression was not sin. He says joy. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Joy is a feature. It's a feature.